if we really want to do this in a focused way, in a way to really get a result, he goes, we have to look at what result do we want from it. Now, I think a lot of us would say, well, I'm going to get loans out of those people. They're going to see me. They're going to like me. They're going to get my
Right.
card. And my result is I want to get a lead out of some of those agents, right? And there's nothing wrong with that goal, and that'll probably happen, right? It'll probably happen. But what Steve said is really what our goal should be is before you go into that meeting, try and figure out who's going to be there, which you should be able to do from the roster of the real estate company, right? You know who those people are.
Yep.
Investigate all of them, figure out which of those agents are actually what we call qualified.
Hey, welcome to Loan Officer Growth Podcast, the podcast that helps LOs grow their business and have more freedom. Today, we have a treat for you. We have Frank Garay. Frank Garay, let me tell you what I do know about Frank. He's a leader. He's well known for his show, Think Big, Work Small, which actually, Frank, I was thinking about it before we started recording. I think you and Gary Vee were like the very first people to ever build a video blog back in the day, right? Because that was years ago.
It was, yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Gary Vee, of course, had a really cool thing that he had going with the wine and the
Right.
football thing and all that, and it was just really cool. And you got to admit, wine is a pretty good subject to talk about. So, obviously he exploded quite well and has become very successful. And yeah, it was about the same time that when he came out was the same time me and Brian came out. Think
Yeah.
Big, Work Small, and then we changed to the National Real Estate Post. But we're in the mortgage space. So, but within that little world of the mortgage space, we did quite well. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It
did
was
really
awesome.
well. Yeah.
And you're part of Mortgage Marketing Animals. You're the host of Loan Officer Breakfast Club. You run your own mortgage. Now, that's one thing I don't know. Do you run your own mortgage company as a broker, or you run a branch of a
A
mortgage bank?
branch.
Okay,
Yeah, a
so you
branch.
run your own branch.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a branch, but I'm with Texana Bank. They're an FDIC lender out of Texas, so they're a national platform. But the unique thing about them is they broker everything. They don't do any
Nice.
in-house, nothing. They have no in-house mortgage staff whatsoever, anything like it. It's a literally. So I'm a national mortgage broker. So
Exactly.
that's why I took them, because I came out of the broker world. My decades of experience were always broker. I had
Right.
a brief moment with Wells Fargo for 3 years, but then went back to the broker channel. And then so when I decided to dip my toe back into the space and originations again just this year, that was I actually got turned on to the company by Paulie Dolan,
Yep.
who we all know in the Freedom Club. And he said, might want to look at these guys for what you're looking for. And then, yeah, they're a national platform, which I dug. I thought, okay, that's cool. And they broke everything. So, okay, well, cool. So yeah. And it's been working out really well. I've been enjoying it. They're good. They're a good outfit. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Back
Yeah.
to back to Think Big, Work Small. I wanted to tell you something. I remember, and I don't know if this was at near the beginning when you started, but I just remember this episode like it was yesterday. And the what you did, I think today it I can't think of the word I'm trying to use, but I think it's as good of a learning experience today as it was way back then. And it was when you guys called, I don't remember if you called loan officers or realtors. We don't want to pick on either one. So we'll just say both. And you called 100 of them and you wanted to see how many answered the phone, and almost none answered the phone.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I think we run into that today too. We have callers that call our past clients. We have callers that call realtors to set appointments. And like 70-80% of them don't answer their phone, even when we're in a world of, look, we all need business, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How
Yeah. What was even more shocking about that episode, I remember that episode too, was not only did very few actually answered their phone.
Right.
And then the few that didn't give us the time of day. Like it was just, they didn't give us the time of day. And so there was a couple who were like, yeah, what's up? How's it going? But even more surprising to me and Brian on that episode too was like nobody even called back. I mean, we had caller ID back
Isn't
then,
that
what I mean?
crazy?
Yeah, and nobody even called back. So it's like, okay, whatever.
In the statistics, then this is for all the loan officers out there, but the statistics are like 85% of people that call and get voicemail, they call the next loan
True.
officer or realtor or whoever that person is.
Yeah.
So then even if you do call them back, they usually don't answer because they already got help by somebody else.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it kind of leads me to kind of something Carl talks about a lot, and in the Freedom Club we talk about a lot, is you've got to have somebody answering your phone if you can't answer it. So if
Yeah.
you're in appointments, have somebody answer your phone. If you're making outbound phone calls, forward your phone to have somebody answer it at least. Because then the other statistic is like 90% of people that if they talk to a human, even if it's not you, they're going to wait for that call back instead of
Yep.
calling that next person. So yeah, it's that I always remember that episode. It just blew me away back then. And I think, man, that had to be 10, 12, 15,
Well, probably about 12 years ago. Yeah, it was probably, golly, 2010 or something like that,
yeah,
or 10 or 13 years ago. Yeah.
that's crazy. Well, man, you do
Yeah.
so much. Tell us what you love. What do you love to do? What what's your favorite part of what you do? Because you do so many different things.
I think today, the favorite thing I do is Breakfast Club for sure. That's my favorite thing. It's super rewarding, and it really helps me personally a lot too.
Interesting.
Yeah, and not only it helps me personally in a lot of different ways, right? But or in a few different ways. But one of the primary ways that it helps me is now that I'm back in the origination space and I'm dipping my toe back in the water and getting going and doing this for my own reasons.
Right.
There, I learned so much from it. And even though I'm leading it, I still hear so much. I give a perfect example today. Perfect example today was, okay, Kristen, we do Kristen's Corner,
Yep.
and she shared today a win from a gentleman named Jacob, who's a regular visitor to Breakfast Club and a MMA member, and he shared in the Breakfast Club Facebook group that he got a win where he was working with what we call a tuna, right? A tuna, a good agent, a very good agent, and the agent invited him to speak to her whole office, right? So he's got an office presentation with like 20 agents or something like that are going to be there, something like that.
Nice.
So he's very excited, right? And then in the Facebook chat, it was like, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to talk about? What are you going to talk about? And he said the DSP, Daily Success Plan for real estate agents, because with Mortgage Marketing Animals, we have a presentation that you can use to
Right.
present, like, here's how you can get business, real estate agent, right? So he was going to do that, and that was all good, and you could kind of leave it at that, right? You could leave it at that and go, great, awesome, great win, congrats, enjoy, and you got something to talk about. And it's a really cool thing to talk about. But on Breakfast Club, Steve was like, well, hey, man, here's what I want to bring up, Steve Kyles. And he says, here's what I want to bring up. You get in these situations where you get these office meetings, and they're very, very cool. And he said, but if we really want to do this in a focused way, in a way to really get a result, he goes, we have to look at what result do we want from it. Now, I think a lot of us would say, well, I'm going to get loans out of those people. They're going to see me. They're going to like me. They're going to get my
Right.
card. And my result is I want to get a lead out of some of those agents, right? And there's nothing wrong with that goal, and that'll probably happen, right? It'll probably happen. But what Steve said is really what our goal should be is, before you go into that meeting, try and figure out who's going to be there. You should be able to do from the roster of the real estate company, right? You know who those people are.
Yep.
Investigate all of them, figure out which of those agents are actually what we call qualified, right? Which is at least 8 buy sides in the past 12 months. And your goal would be then go in, do the presentation, do the DSP presentation, but in the back of your mind, you're making note of who those qualified agents are, right? So you want to give them maybe a little bit extra attention while you're in there, but
Right.
also after you're done the next day or whatever it is, you want to go back and follow up with those qualified agents and try and get 2 or 3 appointments, right? What we call coffee appointments or first
Right.
meeting with those qualified agents. So really the goal of that office meeting should be more laser focused on, okay, I have the office meeting, have the opportunity to be in front of people, share something cool. But my thinking is I want to get a couple of appointments with some producers out of this meeting. That's the focus. That should be the result that we're looking for, as Steve put it. And so for me, right, I learned something today.
Right.
I learned something on Breakfast Club. So I'm hosting it, yet I'm learning from it every single day.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, and I just love seeing Breakfast Club is so enjoyable to me too, because first of all, we have a lot of fun on it, right? We've turned it into something really just high energy. Um, the other thing that's really great about it too, Richard, that I love, the reason I love Breakfast Club so much is because it's always 100% positive. There's no negativity in Breakfast Club, nothing, right? We
Yeah.
don't go everybody's broke, nobody's got any. We don't. Those words don't come out of our mouth.
Right.
Okay, that's baloney. It's absolute trash. And it's proven by everybody who's there sharing their experiences, going, well, I'm working the daily success plan. And, I've got 15 closing this month.
Yeah.
So what's up with me? You know, and a lot of times people go, well, your area is different. No, it's not. Okay.
Right.
No, it isn't. All right. No, it's just there's a plan, it's being worked, and there's success as a result of it. And it's great success today. And there's a lot of people just absolutely killing it. So we're just like always positive, man.
That's
And so
awesome.
it's to me, that's why Breakfast Club is my favorite thing. It's early for me. It's 5:30 in the morning. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to have a great time with some awesome people, hundreds and hundreds between the Zoom call and the Facebook Live, people watching on Facebook within the animals Facebook groups. Brother, we're hitting 500 to 800 people a day that are
That's
on these
amazing.
calls. Yeah, and I'm just we're immersing ourselves with really like-minded, positive people that are out to get some, out to get it today. And man, I can't think of a better way for an originator to start their day. I can't. And oh, by the way, sometimes some might think that belongs to Breakfast Clubs for new people, new loan officers. No, pretty kidding. We probably have more 30-year, 20-year vets on
Right.
Breakfast Club than we have new people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Breakfast Club is for everybody, man. It's for everybody. To not attend Breakfast Club is just crazy. It's free. It's absolutely free. It's 30 minutes, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern time. Absolutely free. Just show up. Let's get going, man. Let's start getting some work, hang out with some really positive people, energetic, positive people that are out to get it and know how to get it. Right. That's the best thing. Have the plan to get it done. So long-winded answer, but
No,
that's,
very cool. What if,
but I'm doing a lot of other things, but
yeah,
Breakfast Club is really the highlight of my day, man. It really is.
what a great way to start your day too, every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody listening right now has never heard of it, how can they find out more and how can they join?
Well, the beautiful thing is it's just absolutely free. You just go to loanofficerbreakfastclub.com and you just
Perfect.
sign up. And then, you just put your info in there and you get an email right away that has the link to join the Zoom call. It's just a Zoom call. Like everybody's used to Zoom like this. It's a Zoom call. Anybody can raise their hand, say anything. There's a chat. Everybody's blowing up the chat. Um, so yeah, you just go to loanofficerbreakfastclub.com, sign in, you'll get an email and show up. Just
Very
show up.
cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. It's amazing. It's kind of like the points you made reminds me of coaching. When I'm coaching, I'm learning almost as much as I'm helping,
Yeah.
because you're repetitive and thinking, there's times I'm sitting there talking about well, here's our plan. This is what you've got to do, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and then I hang up and I'm like, man, I need to do that too.
Yeah. That's good thinking. Yeah. For sure. I
Kind of
think that's
funny.
always the case when you teach and you lead, you're always learning,
Right. Yeah.
as you're teaching. And that's why everyone should strive to be a leader. Everybody should strive to be an educator, a teacher, and because you learn from doing it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So success usually happens in small steps. What are some of the steps you've taken that's brought on success? Because pretty much everything you've done, you've been successful with.
Well, it might appear that way, but that is definitely not the truth.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I've got way more failures than I have successes, that's for sure. But I think that says something,
Yes.
because I'd say this: the steps that I take I'm very much so. I'm not afraid to implement, right? I'm not afraid to, and I've always kind of been this way naturally. But I've always been kind of innovative in my own mind, like I approach things, with a critical sort of analysis, just kind of naturally, like, how can I do something with this? Or
Right.
could this be something that might work? Or could that be? And if I think things through enough, sometimes not all the way through enough, which winds up in the failures, but if I think them through enough to I think I got something here, I implement, right? I'm definitely of the mindset, like Carl says, and a lot of people say, is I it doesn't have to be perfect for me. The idea or the notion doesn't have to be 100% perfect, ready to roll for me to roll it out.
Right.
In fact, a lot of times I roll it out very prematurely because I'm not sure how it's going to go and how to handle what may come from it. And then I have to, I can't foresee everything.
Right.
Right. So I get an idea or a thought and I roll with it. Right. I
That's
roll with it.
good.
So yeah, but I've had many things that I've, experimented with and tried, and I'll give you a great example. So when I decided to get back into the mortgage space, right? And I'm doing this, so everybody knows, I'm doing this for my kids. I don't have to get back into the mortgage space. I don't. But I got 4 kids, two of them of which have circumstances that are like, man, I need two of them are great. They're good to go. But two of them could use something of equity, right? Something.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, man, I'll get back into the mortgage space. I'll involve my kids and hopefully be able to turn something over to them, right? Over the next 4 or 5 years, I've built something up together with them, and then they can take it over and run it. That was my kind of my process. And so I had these big lofty goals. I thought I had it all figured out, like I'm going to get up to 100 loans a month in my quote unquote branch, right? As quickly as possible, within a year or something like that. I want to get
Yep.
to 100 loans a month. Now, I'm not going to say that I can't pull that off. We could certainly pull that off. But I will say that I quickly learned it's going to be a lot more work than I anticipated, right? A
Right.
lot more work. And I also figured out that I'm not into it. Like I don't want to do 100 loans a month. Not, that me and what I'm after. I realized I can build something of equity with these kids that doesn't have to be at that level, right? It doesn't have to be at that
Right.
level. I think to be at that level, you're going to have, I don't think, I know for a fact, to be at that level, you're going to have a notable team, right? You're going to have a notable team underneath you to perform at that level. You are. It's the way
Exactly.
it is. You're going to have a half a dozen people at least, right? To make all that absolute, to make all that happen. And for me, with everything else I do have going on, the other companies that I run and are part of, and that stuff, I thought, I've had a change of heart there, and I don't want to do 100. I'd like to do 10. You know,
Yeah.
and just have 8 to 10 a month would be enough for it'd be actually it's a lot of money. It really is these days.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a ton of money, and make something sustainable in that regard. So there you go. There's a perfect example. I had one idea, got moving, right? Now I've shifted gears and went, you know what? I don't need to do that, right? But I can do this, and I'll be perfectly happy with this. So kind of shifting,
Yep.
on an initial thought, rolled it out, went for it, and went, changed my mind, right?
But you still
Simply,
implement fast. And
I
that's
implement fast. Yeah,
yeah.
I roll, dude. I get going. If I got what I think is a cool idea, I'm gonna get it out there. I can't tell you how many domain names I have. It's ridiculous, right? Everything I think of has to have its domain name,
Yeah.
So I'm actually trimming those down, saying don't renew, don't renew, don't renew, don't renew, don't renew.
There's
I
some of
got
them
too
you can
many
try
of
to
them.
sell too.
I know,
It's
but
funny.
but yeah. So I don't know if we're answering the question too well, but
No, that was great. Yeah.
I'm a fast implementer. I always have been, and I see what sticks. And if it sticks, I run with it. If it doesn't, I move on. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about it. It
Love
is
it.
what it is. I don't have time to feel bad about it. I just, I want to get moving to the next
Moving to the
thing.
next thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of
So
that
get
entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah. You're every very successful person has a lot of failures, but yeah, just like you said, you don't see those.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some that have been just complete flops. They're like, no, that didn't work. But oh well, it was worth the try.
Exactly.
It's worth the effort. Probably learned something else from it. But
Yep. Very
yeah.
cool. So
Mm-hmm.
I know you get up super early because the Breakfast Club
Mhm.
is at 5:30 Pacific time, and you're in
Mhm.
Vacay, California.
Vacaville. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know why that reminds me of like vacation.
Yeah. Well, it's not.
It's not a vacation every day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but it's cool. Vacaville's nice. We're out here. We're just east of Napa. It's okay. It's a great little town, about 100,000 people. We got some hills
Cool.
around us, and the weather's great, and yeah, so it's a good place to
How
be.
far from Napa? I was in Napa just a few months ago.
If I make a beeline toward it, to cut through there the fastest way possible, probably about 40 minutes, something
Is
like
that
that.
it? Dude, man, I'm gonna visit my daughter. She lives right outside Napa. Next time I go, I'll look
Oh,
out.
come on, man. Let's hook up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
no, it's
need to
super.
do that.
Yeah, the only reason it takes 40 minutes is you got to get up, you got to go through the hill. Like you got to get up over the
Right.
hills and do some things. If it was just a freeway, it'd probably take 15 minutes to get
Oh,
there.
wow. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
So aside from getting up early, or if that could be your answer, but what's a routine or habit that you've done that really makes a difference in your life?
I'll be perfectly transparent. So about 7 years ago, I quit drinking, right? I quit drinking. Prior to that, I had reached the apex of drinking, right? I became quite the professional drinker. Through the experience of the National Real Estate Post and the video and all that stuff, we had a really kind of unique sort of life. It was just
Yeah.
weird, and um, all we really had to do every day was shoot a show and get it out and make our mentions of who's sponsoring us, and that's all we had to do. So, and I fell into alcohol, through that over the years, and got pretty heavy into it. And just I was drinking every day, and just
Yeah.
anyway. So quit drinking about 7 years ago, and after I quit drinking, and it was about a year after, I really came back. I'm a Christian, and I love the Lord, and I really want to just pursue Him, as best I can daily. And so when it comes to routine, thanks to the quitting the drinking, which I know for a fact was just the Lord just really
Right.
impressing upon me, like, what are you doing? Like, this is not you. And so, my routine, is definitely the first part of the day is the biggest part of the day for me. So I'm typically out of bed, downstairs with a cup of coffee and my Bible in my hand by about 4 a.m.
Oh,
So
wow.
4 a.m. Yeah. And I start my, what people will call devotionals, right?
Yep.
I don't necessarily call it that, but I start, in, my fellowship with the Lord, right? You know what I mean? And that's what I do first, man. And that's that, and then Breakfast Club, right? And then
Yep.
Breakfast Club. So and I think that routine has been just amazing for me, for my spiritual life, for my work life, for my family life, for my business, everything. That little piece, that 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. slot, right? Those 2 hours of my day
That's awesome.
are 100% consistent. Like, it's every day, even on the weekends. I mean, Saturday and Sunday, I might lay in the bed another hour, right? Just to, because I can, or whatever, but
Right.
I'm usually awake, just laying there,
Yeah.
kind of all soft and cozy and warm. And I'll just lay awake here and have my thoughts with me. But that routine is very, very stable for me. And that routine is the anchor for the rest of my day. And no matter what it is that I'm doing, or whatever's on the table for the day. So there's that. Routine wise, we have our get together every day at 9 a.m., 9 or 9:30, depending on the day, our time. So that's set in stone. That has not changed. And we make sure we've got, for my
Your
team,
team?
we make
Okay.
sure we've got our day in front of us, right? We get together, I'll say, hey, here's my day, so everybody knows my day, right? We'll check with the team what you got going on, make sure you get this done, what you got going on. So that's every single day. That's without fail. And so there's that. We are DSP driven, right? Daily success plan driven.
Yep.
So we have our calls we make. If I can't make them, someone's making them. One or the other, either me or somebody else is making those calls. So we're very DSP driven. So that's routine for us. That has paid off, and quite nice, especially now. It's really starting to just go. Like, I'm just getting a lot of deals. Like, I'm getting deals right now. And
Nice.
so, yeah, there's that. And that's about it for routine for me. You know, there's other things I do. I have other companies and things like that. So I do engage with those individuals who I'm part of that company with routinely as
Cool.
well, you know, through the week on certain days or whatever. So yeah, I am pretty routine driven. I do have like set bang, 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 bang
What time
things
do you
that I
go to
do.
bed at night? I'm just curious.
Oh, dude, it's embarrassing. Like my wife, I drive her crazy because like I'll literally fall asleep in my chair at like 6 p.m., 6:30.
Yeah.
Like I'm snoring. Like, you know, my wife's like, I'm like, she's just giving up. She's like, why do you go? I go, I don't know. I just fall asleep. I get in my chair and I get comfortable or
Well,
maybe
you're up
watch.
at 4.
Yeah, you know, so give me a break, right? You know, I am kind of working East Coast hours. Technically, that's 9 p.m. on the East Coast, you know.
Yep.
So but you know, so the truth is I'll typically take about an hour to an hour and a half nap before I go up to bed, which we usually go up about 9, you know,
Okay.
8:30,
Okay.
you
So
know,
you get
9 a.m.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
It is. It's a good, I need to introduce some exercise here and I've been trying to get that going. That's important, but I just haven't gotten to it. I got to get that into a routine, which I have not done yet, but I would like to. Um, so yeah, anyways. Yeah, that's about
Okay.
it.
Nice.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, man, the time has flown. So, last question.
Yeah.
What words of encouragement do you have for loan officers right now in these current times that we're in?
I would say you can set your mind right on anything you choose to set your mind on. And you could set your mind on let me rephrase that. You can attach yourself to uh, certain trains of thought or groups of people. Okay. And currently many, there is a train of thought, and there are many people who will tell you the sky is falling and who would tell you that they use words like nobody has any business. None of the realtors are doing anything, right? Everybody's struggling, right? These types of broad brushstroke
Right.
words and comments. And you can choose to attach yourself to that line of thought and attach yourself to individuals or groups of people that are speaking that language. And if you do choose to do that, I really feel bad for you, because you can also choose to attach yourself to the train of thought or groups of people that are saying quite the opposite, saying, actually, there's a ton of business going on out there. You just got to know how to get it and know who to talk to. And, you know, the sky isn't falling, right? It's wonderful. And you can choose to attach yourself to one train of thought, one group of people, or a different train of thought, different group of people. I would just say, you know, shake it off. If you're feeling down, negative in any way whatsoever, you just got to shake that off, man, and stop and
Yeah.
say, I'm just going to attach myself to a different group of people, because clearly there's people that are destroying it right now, just absolutely killing it right now, just killing. And how come that's happening for them? And if you're going to say, if you dare say to yourself, well, it's because they're different, right?
Yeah.
You're just deceiving yourself, and it's BS. You're getting in your own way and you're lying to yourself, is what you're doing. And maybe even trying to find some sort of an excuse for yourself to be in the situation that you're in. Right. But I'll tell you, man, just if you want to, if you want to attach yourself to a group of people that have the right mindset and who not believe that there's business out there, are getting the business that's out there, come join us at Loan Officer Breakfast Club. Start
Yep.
there. Dip your toe in the water with us. 30 minutes a day, free. Doesn't cost you a penny. Sign up at loanofficerbreakfastclub.com. Join us. Hang out. I defy you to come to Breakfast Club and go, that sucked, right?
Yeah.
It just ain't going to happen. You're going to go to Breakfast Club and go, dang, that was good. Then, yeah, I guess I could make a couple phone calls. Today's past client database day for us. Today's Wednesday. We opened the show with, we had a win, you know, a gentleman, gosh darn, I'm forgetting his name, but you know, he opened up, say, yeah, we were calling our past client database. I made some calls. These are people that I hadn't talked to, and one particular guy, I hadn't talked to him in like 10 years,
Wow.
12 years, right? But I'm doing what we're being taught through the Daily Success Plan and Breakfast Club and marketing animals. And I made my call and I knew how to say it. I knew what to say, and the dude was absolutely thrilled to hear from me. And I'm doing a $500,000 loan for the guy right now. Like it works, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
I mean, that was today, and you hear that kind of stuff. You show up at Breakfast Club and you go, well, I guess maybe I could call my past client database. I guess an email drip that I've been doing for the past 8 years, maybe it's not the best way, right? Nothing wrong with it. I
Yeah.
certainly do the email drip, of course. We totally encourage that, right? But you pick up a phone, you start making some phone calls, you start having the right conversation with people.
Yeah.
Say hello to call the bank, tell them you're on your way, because you're gonna get the deals. It's just they're out there, lots of it, tons of
Yeah.
it. I can't believe how many refis are getting done right now. We had a guy on the show the other day, Morga, was it?
Oh, Greg Morgan.
Greg Morga. He's like doing, he did like 15 one month, doing 14 another month. And the month he did 19. He did 19 last month or
Crazy. Yeah.
something. Yeah, and like 6 of them were refis. And I'm like,
Amazing.
what? And he's just got all these points that he makes. Like, they just gotta, if you got anybody looking for a HELOC, right? If they're sniffing for a HELOC, you know why they're sniffing for a HELOC? They got debt.
Yeah.
Okay. They got debt. And that HELOC ain't going to help them,
Oh
because it's going
no.
to be at
That's
11,
just gonna add
12%.
on.
It's
Yeah.
just going to pile on, and they're not going to pay that off either. Okay. They're not going to pay it off either. So most of the time you can do a refi, even if it's in the sevens, and still save them a ton of money. And he's doing a lot of people taking them out of conventional, putting them into FHA, believe it or not, because you can go higher LTV. You go higher LTV, higher DTI, right? And even with the MI, it's still saving these guys tons of money. He's just like, so I don't know. Come to Breakfast Club.
It's that
Come
blended
to
rate.
Breakfast Club. Get started there. Join Mortgage Marketing Animals. That's where you should just really start there. But if you just want to dip your toe in the water, come to Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And then even then, entertain Freedom Club. Just get moving, man. There's plenty of positive people out there. So attach yourself
To the
to
right
a
people.
group of people that's got it going on, right? We're in another world. Like, we're not in that depressing world of the
Yeah.
news. We're just not there. I don't even listen to the news. I don't even
Yeah.
watch it. Nothing.
That's a
Like,
great habit to
why?
have, not
Oh
listening.
yeah. I
Yeah.
quit the news. I quit the news years ago. I have no idea what's going on in the news. I don't watch anything. I don't even go on Facebook anymore. The only reason I go on Facebook is to post something about business,
Yeah.
Loan Officer Breakfast Club here or there. That's it. I don't even entertain it, because there's too much junk in there. Too much negativity. Why do I want it? It doesn't
Distractions.
fulfill me in any way. There's no
Exactly.
fulfillment in it. I don't get more business because of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going on. I know we got to go.
Good stuff, man. It
All
was
right, man.
awesome having you on, brother.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, man. Always good hanging out with you, Rich.
Yeah, I appreciate you. So
You
that
gonna be in
is
Clearwater?
I will not be this time.
Okay, well, I'll be there.
Oh,
So
I know it's a bummer.
yeah, that's all good. There's another one coming up in February,
Yep.
so we'll see you
All
there.
right,
I'm
all
sure.
right. Thank you, man. I do appreciate you, and we will see you on the next Loan Officer Growth.